Okay, we are back on page 6, where we had adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators. We're going to be over here on the other side doing adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. And if like meant the same, then unlike means not the same or different. So if we have the problem 1/2 minus 1/3, 1/2 minus 1/3, right now we cannot solve that, because if somebody has half of a pizza and then takes a third of a pizza away, we only had a half a pizza to give. So what we have to do is, this is why I taught you this in order, we have to make an equivalent fraction. We actually have to make 2 equivalent fractions, so that, because we can't do anything until they have the same denominator. So, remember least common multiple from the last unit? This is a great time to use the least common multiple. So if this is your thought bubble in your head, you're going to think least common multiple? Because the least common multiple of 2 and 3 is the smallest possible denominator we can use. So 2 and 3, the least common multiple is 6. So I'm going to change both of them into a fraction with 6 on the bottom, because then they'll have the same denominator and I can do something with them. So I know that I can make an equivalent fraction as long as I multiply or divide by the same number on the bottom and the top. So if I go from 2 to 6, I know that 2 times 3 is 6. So I have to do the same thing to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So now 1/2 is going to become 3/6. Over here, I have to go from 3 to 6. I can do 3 times 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. And I get 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 3/6 minus 2/6. Now it's just like we did on the last page, right? We take the same denominator, carry it over and put it on the answer, and then we do whatever we normally do on the top. So 3 minus 2 is 1/6. So steps are to make equivalent fractions with the same denominator, and then add or subtract whatever it's telling you to do. Now, maybe some of you have strong math skills, you're already rocking it out at this, you can figure out the least common multiple. If that is you, great. You can pause this video right now. If, however, you are someone who maybe could use some support finding the least common multiple or just common denominators, we do have another way of doing this. So this would not be the smallest possible denominator, but it would be the easiest possible denominator. And that would be to just multiply the denominators by each other. So when I have, let's do a different problem. Let's do 4/5 minus 2/3. I would say, all right, I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to make that the number I multiply these two by. So I'm going to do 4/5 times 3/3. That one becomes 12/15. And then I'm going to do the same thing to 2/3. I just am going to choose to multiply it by 5 since that's the other denominator. 10 fifteenths. So now I have 12 fifteenths minus 10 fifteenths equals 2 fifteenths. Some of you may have heard this described as the butterfly method. That name I feel like can be confusing, so I don't always do that because it's like you're multiplying this by both and you're multiplying this by both. So really it's like the pretzel method, if anything. Okay, now you know, adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Make an equivalent fraction and then do what you need to do.